Welcome. My name is Dustin Blakeley. I'm a social worker and therapist working with Through the Maze to bring you this webinar training on resilience. I'm excited to be able to share with you my thoughts and research on resilience. I've dedicated much of my career on researching resilience and stress and how they go hand in hand and what makes people resilient. Resilience is individual. It's subjective to our individual experiences, what we've been taught, what we've gone through. This definition of resilience I really enjoy. It was coined by, her name is Nan Henderson. She's a PhD social worker, and she identifies resilience as the ability to rebound, bounce back, and transcend adversity. That last part, transcending adversity, is what I've really held on to and what I've really found important. I think we all go through things in life. We all have our own individual experiences. We all have even traumatic experiences on some level. And, I like the idea of being able to get back to what our normal functioning is. But I also like the idea of, can we, in times of crisis or adversity, can we transcend that adversity? Can we even grow from it? Can we have some post-traumatic growth? And so if we think of resilience and we think of our normal functioning, if you will, this line represents like what our baseline is, what our ideal functioning and normal functioning. It's important to understand that even this, quote unquote, normal functioning is individual. It's subjective to our own experiences. And then we all experience, an adverse event. They can be big, they can be small, and even that, like everything else, is subjective to the individual. We can have really big experiences that are traumatic. We can have everyday experiences that maybe don't seem like a big deal, but maybe they can add up. And so usually what happens with an adverse experience is, for whatever reason, we get back to our normal functioning, whether it's our own resilient skills that we already use, or just time passing by, we will go back to what that functioning looks like. Sometimes, that functioning dips. Sometimes something is really traumatic, and, that's a good time to seek help, from a therapist, from friends, from anybody who can get us back to, us feeling like our normal selves. But what I like to focus on is, how can we get to that top arrow? How can we transcend adversity? How can we even experience something traumatic and grow from it? Can we have post-traumatic growth? And how do we do that? I think this webinar is a good place to go to for that, because we've identified these core concepts that increase resilience and contribute to everybody's individual resilience. And so what I want to talk about today is our values, and how that relates to our resilience. Our values are core beliefs. A moral code dictates how we act, how we treat others, dictates how we treat ourselves. We're not perfect. We all have missteps in life. We all make mistakes. And the question is can we get back on track after that mistake, or, do we go further down? And, can other people see our values? Values really, to me, are like a compass, a moral compass. It's always pointing to our true north. And when we can identify specific values, those values is what guides us. Those values is what helps us in time of need. In time of need, we need to know who we are, where we came from, what we believe in. And it's not necessarily like a spiritual belief or a belief in God or anything like that. It's just, what helps us have a sense of purpose, what gives us that direction in life. And the importance of values, like I kind of talked about earlier, it provides us guidance. That guidance is really important because as long as we know what our values are and we are trying, not always, but we're trying to live according to those values, we have a path in life. We may make mistakes in life, which, we're human, and so we're always going to make some mistakes. But can we get back on track according to our values? Our values pointing to that true north gives us a sense of direction. It influences our behavior. How we act is a direct reflection of our character and our values. If we haven't identified specific values, what's influencing our behavior? Are we acting in a deliberate way? Are we being true to ourselves? Things like that. Provides clarity. I know for me personally, when I live according to a set value system, it does provide clarity. It gives me that direction, and when I'm feeling alone, when I'm feeling like I'm off track a little bit, I just look to my values, and that provides the clarity to get back on track and to move forward. And it also provides comfort. Provides comfort in times of crisis, in times of grief, in times of trauma, and in times of our own mistakes. That comfort of knowing who we really are and what direction we want to go does comfort us. And it helps us set goals in life. Most of our goals in life, whether we've identified it or not, is centered around some of our values. So specifically today with values, I want to focus on contribution. Contribution is a major part of what makes us us and what makes us resilient. Contribution helps us when we're having trouble identifying who we are. It can be difficult to answer that question, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? And by contribution, contributing to others, whatever that looks like, that gives us a sense of purpose. It even makes us grateful for what we have. Sometimes helping others, makes us remember that, we do have a lot to be grateful for. And I truly believe that kindness and generosity are foundations for individual and societal resilience. If we look at our society, a lot of it does come from, contributing to others. How can we contribute more to others? Are we grateful for those who contribute to us? I think we've all gone through things in our lives where we've been shown kindness and generosity. I think we can, hopefully most of us can identify, individuals and circumstances that it was kind to us and that showed us some lenience or generosity. And really, when we matter to others, we really increase our self-worth. Being human means that we are a part of something bigger than just us as individuals. I believe that how we fit in society and how we work with society and how we contribute to society really affects our self-worth, for good or bad. If we're kind of not active in our community or active within, our social circles or our society, I think it can help us feel isolated, alone. But when we are engaged and we are contributing to others according to our own values, I really believe that it increases our self-worth and self-esteem. And so my challenge really to everyone is a contribution challenge. First, I think we need to identify some of our core values. What are those? And where did they come from? Who and what has shaped these values? If I value love and kindness and compassion, that's really good to identify, but where did they come from? We all have experiences and people that contribute to our value system. And I think it's really important to understand, what those are. For me personally, I was lucky enough to have two good parents, and they really instilled in me early on the value of kindness and compassion and always treating people with respect. How have we used these values in the past? I think it's important to understand, even though we haven't identified values, quite yet, but we've been living in some way according to some sort of moral code, some sort of value system. And so how have we used these values in the past? How have we contributed to others? And how have others, used their values to contribute to us? Have we witnessed resilience in others? Have we witnessed other people showing kindness and compassion or whatever values we identify to other people? And really, how can we use our values to help others? Is there a neighbor, a friend, family member, a stranger even, in need? Is there a cause that you want to engage in? Our society and culture is always filled with some sort of cause that we can be engaged in. If we can identify our values, then, we know what causes and stuff like that would go with our values. And really, do we have to wait for someone to ask us for help? Can we identify somebody in need and ask them instead if they would like a hand? I think it's important for us to understand that, we don't have to be asked to help out. If we are living to a certain set of values and, we feel like we want to contribute to others, I think we can identify a lot of different ways to do that. And I think it's going to be individualized, like everything else with resilience. I think that we just have to find, what matters to us. How can we contribute to society? How can we make ourselves feel like a part of something bigger than just us as individuals? And so these are my thoughts and what I found to be helpful for resilience. Hopefully everybody can take something from this. It's going to be subjective to everybody's individual preferences, but I think there's something in these webinars for everybody. Maybe not everything makes sense, but hopefully we can all identify something and take something away from it. And I'd like to thank everybody for your time.